write this like 3 months ago because of what's going on in global markets? And the answer is no, this has been coming for obviously, well, since the beginning of time, I guess. But more recently, we might say at least since the advent of the technology revolution, the population explosion, and what's happened basically in the last 50 or 60 years. I wasn't going to start with this, but I guess I will. Imagine I have a PowerPoint here, and there's a slide up, and the slide has the following 4 people's pictures on it. Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, and Susan B. Anthony. And the question is, what do these people all have in common? Anybody want to guess?
They're on coins.
Someone might guess they're all dead.
No, they're on coins. They're on money.
When they were alive, what did they all have in common at different times in history?
Their faces are on the mountain.
No, but they all ate only organic food.
Really?
Well, if you think about it, the point of that is to get you to realize that basically the food system that we are living with right now that we take as sacrosanct basically started after World War II. Right. Largely fueled, this is I didn't intend to start here, but largely fueled by munitions manufacturers who are looking for new markets for fertilizer, for the chemicals that are in fertilizer, which we all know can be used for explosives. So what we take for granted as the only way it can be is the only way it has been for 50 or 60 years. And then if you remember things like there were only 2 billion people on the planet in 1945.
Oh no.
So in the lifetime of some of us, not quite me, but so it's all happened so fast. And in that same period of time, a thing called venture capital was created. What the hell is venture capital? It's just a few thousand companies getting $10 billion, let's say, a year, whatever that number is. And it's a few hundred companies, a few thousand people, and a few thousand recipients of the capital, all in a very narrowly focused thing. If I were to draw a circle on this board that was maybe this big right over here, and the whole blackboard is all the new corporations formed in the United States every year, those are the companies that are getting venture capital. It's a tiny fraction. It's maybe 0.5% of the new corporations, or it could be less than that, depending on how you count. And why is that? Because the only companies that get it are companies that have a shot at being the next Google. It's companies that have a chance to go from nothing to billions of dollars of value within 5 years. And in the process absorb lots of money, because that's the way the venture capitalists. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
The mic.
Okay, I'll speak a little slower and a little louder. Okay, thank you for saying that. So venture capital is a very small, exclusive, narrowly defined set of activities. Now in this neighborhood, it's kind of hard to remember that too, because you live right near the epicenter, right? So if you were trying to summarize, I think, the direction that we are going, and there's a we here, it's not just me, we have a bunch of people, some of whom you will know. Greg Steltenpole, the founder of Odwalla, is a member of the Slow Money Alliance. Jim Cochran, who's a strawberry grower up the street, up the road a bit. And I think you would recognize a bunch of the names, are banding together with me to try to figure out how to do this. And maybe the simplest way to describe this is that we are starting a nurture capital industry. And so what would nurture capital be? Nurture capital would be a way to take some of the ideas of what works in there, meaning there is arithmetic involved, there's portfolio management and risk management, and most early stage things don't work, and there are realities of starting businesses that are cut across all kinds of enterprises. But trying to get the money to flow out here into a much larger number of small enterprises that are vital, Mike took one of the punchlines, but to the soil of the economy. There's a great organic farmer in Maine named Elliot Coleman. I'm just curious, how many people know Elliot Coleman? 1 or 2, that's cool, because it's about as far away as you can be from him. He's written a couple of kind of Bibles for small-scale organic gardening and farming. One's called The 4-Season Harvest, and the other's called The New Organic Grower. He's been at this for about 40 years now. And he's been talking forever about the key to growing healthy food and truly sustainable agriculture is to feed the soil, not feed the plant. It's all about the soil. And this is basically that same approach taken to enterprise development. It's about feeding the soil of the economy. It's not about trying to extract wild profits, but to create healthy soil. So actually I wasn't going to start with any of that. Let's see. I have a few props here before I get into the book and telling you what we're doing with Slow Money. These are somewhat random, but they're topical. And they're interesting to me because it just, I think before I kind of say more about this and read some of this, the context in the last 6 months has changed so dramatically. I mean, so completely. I mean, I had friends, actually Jim Cochran was one of them. He called me maybe in August and said, "You're gonna have to rewrite the beginning of the book," you know, because suddenly events started moving so fast. And I went back and looked at it, and I decided, for better or worse, that I didn't need to rewrite the beginning of the book. But things are happening fast. What we don't know is whether we're at the beginning of a real transformation this time, or whether we're just having another tremor. And I don't know if we really need. We'll